Welcome back to the Friar Talk podcast and YouTube channel. So today, going to be the second episode of the day. We are going to be talking about Fernando Tatis opting out of surgery. Now, it was reported about a week ago by Kevin Acee and the San Diego UT. It had been kind of talked about that he was leaning towards not doing it, but doesn't seem like the team's stepping in, and it seems like Fernando is going to be opting out of surgery. So, Isaac, what do you think about this decision?
I don't want to speak too much. Obviously we're going to speak too much on it, but I don't want to give any crazy opinions. I think if he feels he's good enough to forego the surgery, he actually has time this offseason to be able to fight. I feel like last offseason maybe he wasn't focused or prioritizing his shoulder on strengthening the muscles around it, so that way the muscles don't pop out as much. But now that I think he has a full offseason, he's got time. Hopefully he has the right trainers, the right doctors to be able to get him through that process and to really get him to, strengthen it to the fullest potential that it can be at. But I think with the time that he has, obviously we're all glad he has it. I don't think there's a realistic possibility that he's going to play all 162. I will say that. I think an IL stint, whether it's one or two, is definitely, I feel like it's inevitable just because it's such a reoccurring injury for him. He's had it for a long time. We see the plays that he tries making. He's such a dynamic player. He's such an electric player who, really puts his body on the line to try to make the plays that we love to see him make. So I think he probably will miss a little bit of time, but if you're able to miss a little bit of time and still crack 40-something home runs and continuously be one of the best players in baseball month to month, except for I guess September, but month to month be one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball. I'm okay with that. And like I said, with time, hopefully he's able to strengthen it. And I guess the only thing that makes me a little glad that he's not getting it is that we saw and Cody Bellinger had more than just this injury. But if Fernando has any sort of down year in production, we're not going anywhere. And this is supposed to be the window that the Padres are winning. If this team was still trash the way they used to be, he should get the surgery, but they're not. So he would be healed by the end. But at the same time, I don't know if he wants to risk a downgrade or a down year in production, because these Padres rely heavily on him. So I think it's an okay decision. Only time will tell if it was a right or wrong decision. So is what it is.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we don't get all the medical information that that the team doctors have, that Fernando's got, and the managers, the front office. So we're taking a pretty wide view on this because we don't know everything that's going on. That being said, the amount of times the shoulder popped out, it popped out once during spring training. I think it happened 3 times, maybe 4 times during the season. And looking at it, he missed, what was it, like a month for the first one, right?
10 days.
As long as 10 days, okay. So we probably missed about a month in total between all of his IL stints. Yeah,
definitely. Mm-hmm.
So as long as I say he can play 130 to 140 games a year without the shoulder affecting him too much, without it popping out a lot, without him being in severe pain, without him having to change his swing again, without him having to wear the uncomfortable brace, I think it's fine. But the moment that it starts to pop out again during season, and it's, you have to wear the brace, you have to change the swing again, you have to do all these little things that affect your production, I think you're just hurting yourself more than if you didn't get this, or than if you did get the surgery. Because if you get the surgery, it's done, it's healed, and then it's more of a mental barrier of just trusting the shoulder again, that it's not going to do these things when you do this, and just kind of working your way back from surgery. The whole Cody Bellinger thing, he did have the same injury, but one of the things that also messed him up is he tried to change his swing. Like, he changed his whole stance, he changed his swing, and it didn't work. It failed miserably. And you know what? He's starting to come around again. He might be one of those guys that next year he starts the ball out. He's starting to hit it in this postseason. As we're recording, he just is 5 for 5 with a 3-run home run. I think he's starting to get back to his normal self. So you know what? Hey, he might be a nice, hey, you've been underperforming. Here's this nice little deal. Come play for us. I think that would be nice because realistically, they can only keep Seager or Bellinger. So hey, whichever one of them walks, it makes the Dodgers worse. So, and you know what? It's ultimately his personal decision. So if Tatis thinks he can get that shoulder all the way strengthened up to where the point's not going to bother him at all next season, by any means, go for it. I'm just going to be a little more skeptical because shoulder problems usually tend to always come back if you don't get them taken care of the right way. They kind of are those things that come back and haunt a baseball player. So that's the only reason I'm skeptical of it.
So first off, I want to talk about the Cody Bellinger stuff very, very quickly. I don't think there's a chance that he leaves the Dodgers. I just want to say that I don't think there is. If he does leave the Dodgers, yes, the Padres need to jump on that opportunity because I think Cody's going to be fine. With Fernando, I'm pretty concerned with the decision. I'm not going to lie. So I think he would have missed like the first 3 to 4 weeks of the year. Isn't that what he probably would have missed if he would have opted in for the surgery?
Yeah, it was looking like it was going to be at least April.
Okay. So I'm fine with that because even if he misses 2 months, the first 2 months of the year, I'm okay with that. I think that their number one priority should be his long-term health. And I think that doing this is just putting it off. I feel like it's different because it's not a pitcher and an elbow, but I feel like it's a similar style to Dinelson Lamet. Because if you guys remember, Dinelson Lamet was the guy that didn't want to get Tommy John. Like it was him, like him making that decision. But when it's time to like get a surgery, I don't know another organization that just doesn't have their guys go get the surgery like automatically. I feel like that's a weird thing that the Padres have done, and they've had so many issues and like medical issues. And like Jay said, we don't know exactly what's going on. I'm just trying to like make the most sense out of it that I can. And I just don't think it's smart. Like I just feel like the Padres have not done good in terms of their treatment of players medically. And we've seen this kind of like strategy fail like multiple times for them. So I'm just concerned. I want the best for Fernando. I get it's his decision. I don't think it should be his decision. I could have told you what he was going to say. He's going to say that he wants to go have an off season. He wants to go, he wants to train and get better. Like that's just the guy he is. And like we love that about him. Like that's the reason he's Fernando Tatis Jr. Like because of that drive. But this is something that he can't control. And if anything, and like even if let's say he goes through the whole regular season, right? He could still do it in the postseason and then the season's over. Right? There could be a stretch where there's like 10 games and they have to win, however many, and he could do it then. Like it could come at a really bad time. And that's the problem with this. Like, so I'm super concerned. I didn't really realize this until we hopped on here. I didn't see that article come out. I just read it a little bit ago, but this is probably like the thing I've been concerned most like since the season ended, or honestly since before the season ended, because it was kind of done for a while. I don't know. I think this is just not a smart move. But Isaac, you were more like positive about it. Do you think I'm wrong?
I don't think there's a right or wrong to this, because like Chase said, there's not enough medical information for us to really be able to digest this information and to be able to really give a valid opinion. And that's the thing; it's always just going to be a matter of opinion. But I think just in terms of like, I'm kind of glad. The only thing keeping me optimistic is that this is, 2020 was only a 60 game season, and he didn't, the shoulder didn't bother him then. The season before, he was getting injured, but it wasn't his shoulder. So I guess you could say this is kind of the first time his shoulder is bothering him. And I think he just kept getting re-injured because he was trying to come back in such a short amount of time to be able to get this team, other than that 9-game win streak, we're nothing without Fernando. We're not unless CJ Abrams turns into what we think he's going to be, then we're something without Fernando. But in terms of everything else, I think, now full off season. He's got a chance to really heal it up, strengthen it, do whatever he can, find out, the safest solutions to him on defense, safest solutions to try to not re-injure it, and he can go over that with the front office, with his infield coach, whatever it is, the doctors, to try and keep that shoulder intact, whatever diving strategies, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but do whatever it takes. We saw one of the instances happen at the plate. I think that was the only one that happened at the plate, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, I don't know. He's just got a very vicious swing. He also has the offseason to be able to fix that. And we saw later or kind of in the middle of April, when he was starting to swing with two hands, it only took him like a week to fix that. So he's that skilled of a baseball player, and he's still hitting balls on top of or out of Chavez ravines. So I'm not overly concerned, but I think one of you said, I forgot which one, if it just keeps happening in season, something's got to be done about it. Since this is fresh on us, this is still something new to us. Regarding this kind of situation with a player, we're all going to have very different opinions on it, and we're going to be like, he doesn't need it yet. For me, he doesn't need it yet. But if he starts showing wear and tear, then it has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Matt was saying, I think my only other concern is how the Padres medical staff has continuously handled injuries. They haven't done it the best. They've kind of mishandled a few. The whole thing with Lamet, like when he first went down this year, when he first had the elbow inflammation, they're like, yeah, you know what? This guy continuously has elbow problems. We'll just say it's inflammation. We don't need to get him an MRI for it. You know what? He didn't just come back from Tommy John last year. Then at the end of the season, hurt his forearm and elbow again. You know what? It'll go away. It didn't go away. The problem was still there. And if you get the MRI, you see how serious the damage is, and you can take the precautions that you need to, hey, does this man need surgery again? Does he just need prolonged rest? Oh my God, you know what? Maybe forcing him to be a starter isn't the best thing in the world. Padres didn't do that. They're just like, wow, he hurt his elbow again. All right, you know what? Come back mid-August, or I don't know, come back again. Try to be a starter. Oh my God, you got hurt in your first game back. Come back mid-August and you're only going to be a reliever, but you're only going to pitch like once every 10 to 15 days. That's not how you take care of your players. Like, you can't continuously do this. You need to take care of your players. You need to get them the proper medical treatment. You need to be like, okay, look, this is a reoccurring problem. We're going to get you an MRI. We're going to see what the doctors say and what's the best route that doctors say. You're going to have your own personal opinion on this, but we're going to try to persuade you in the correct direction so that your long-term health with this organization is taken care of. And they just sometimes continuously do the opposite of it. And it's very frustrating to watch. That's all.
So I think one thing I'll say, just to be a little bit more positive, because I was definitely more negative, especially than Isaac. But we don't really know like exactly what's going down with it. And two, pitching injuries, in my opinion, are a lot different than like any other type of athlete injury. Like I think, and that's just how I feel, just because of like the way that it's almost like, to me, it feels like every single pitcher at one point has Tommy John. And like it's got to be close. Like guys that play for like guys that, and like counting like when they're younger and have like elbow issues, like there's always like some type of year where it's like, oh yeah, the pitcher's gonna have a year off this year. It feels like that happens way more than other athletes. So I do think it's a little bit different. It's also just like you're not using your, like you are using your whole body, but like it's just different. You're throwing from like an elevated surface. Like there's not anything else in sports that's really like that. So it's kind of specific. And it's also like your workout, like the way that you work out as a pitcher is totally different too. So it's a really different like medical thing. And also it's like, it's really tough. Like, I mean, we see how many pitchers get hurt all the time. That's always going to be the case. Like there's always going to be a lot of injuries in terms of pitching. So I do think it's a little bit different, but still I'm concerned. And like, I could be wrong. Like Isaac, like you're saying, like we don't have all the information. And like you're saying, like you're kind of like, let's wait and see, like if it keeps coming back. I just feel like it's going to, and that's why I don't like it. if it doesn't, then then that's definitely the right move. And I hope that's the case. I really, really hope that's the case because, I mean, everyone that listens, like, we want to see this team do really well. Fernando has to be healthy for that to happen. And that's just why it scares me. And like I said, like, I'm fine. Like, I'd be fine if he misses even 2 months to start the year. I get that they might not be good then, but if you have any chance, like, late in the season, like, you have to have him there. And to me, it's a little scary. So I guess the other aspect too is, like, how would his swing change, but I don't think that he'd make major adjustments like Cody Bellinger did, especially after seeing, like, what happened. So, but yeah, that's all I got. Anyone listening, let us know what you think about it too. And explain why as well. But that's going to do it for today's episode. We'll be back. We'll probably have an episode late Thursday. Sorry for the messed up posting. We did double episodes today. So we just did one on like managing and some analytics stuff. But then tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what we're doing, but then we'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And our schedule is going to be Tuesday through Saturday, regular posting, and then a live stream at 9 a.m. on Sunday. So thank you all for listening, and we'll talk very soon.